Welcome. Some people have asked why there are no New York City Council videos right now. Well, they're all on vacation. You can look at this screen here on their Legistar Council NYCgov page, and this is a site that looks like it's from the 1960s, but here it is. It's showing that the upcoming events are some canceled, some. So if you want to look at a different page that shows similar data, they have yet another page called laws.council.nyc.gov/events, and it shows similar information, lots of events canceled or meetings canceled. And so this might be a good page to keep an eye on, but of course you want to always look back at this old historic page, because who knows if this is programmed correctly or not. Then we also had some question about the budget in general. Well, there is a page called councilnyc.gov/budget, and it tells the truth here. New York City runs on billions of dollars. How public funds are distributed affects our city's operations, services, construction, and so much more. Then if you look down on this page, they actually have something that says learn about how the budget works. Click on that page. It's referring back to a different fiscal year, which may confuse you very much. Why is this not updated to show the current fiscal year? Fiscal year 2017 is a long time ago. They're always years ahead. So they're operating in 2020 fiscal year. So you have to be very careful, because New York City's fiscal year trails the state's fiscal year, which trails the country's fiscal year. They all have different fiscal years. New York City starts July 1st. The state seems to start April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And then the federal government, we'd have to look that up. I think that's a whole nother area we could search on Google. And what we'd like to see is explore this budget, right? This is what this is talking about. Well, they have a page which is a PDF document that's 405 pages. It says 217 here, but somehow over here it says 405. But this is every single council person, every single allocation. Of course, the program names change, but the EIN number should not change. I encourage everyone to look at this stuff, and we should not be discouraged by people saying, oh, it's not important, let's talk about the Yankees. I think you should look at how your tax dollars are being spent and where the money's going. Now, this is probably very difficult to follow and understand, because it's just random data thrown out at you, no history, no organization, nothing at all. So that's why the Budget Explorer on tony.brooklyncoop.org helps. I'll go to that. I also want to show that usually these documents that they post, this one, fiscal year 2019, you have to understand their cryptic codes. 2019 prelim, fin, plan, report, blah, 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 RC, ... Usually they hide the important information at the end. So in these documents, always look at the last few pages. Here's one that says Citywide Savings Program, savings by agencies. So these are supposed savings here. So somehow the Department of Education is able to save $116 billion. This is in thousands, no, millions. So $116 million. Yeah, 116 billion would be more than their budget. So $116 million every year they seem to be able to save. I don't know what that even means. Where's the detail on that? I'd like to see the detail on all these savings. Where do they come from? you can listen to some of the hearings on the budget, which most people don't even know there is a public hearing on the budget. And if you listen to these agencies, they'll say they saved on by cutting cars used for only for commuting. Only for commuting? I mean, you mean these people are getting paid? They're using company cars to commute back and forth from home? I mean, does that make any sense? Does anybody get car to drive to work from the city? It just doesn't make sense. Then there's all kinds of other issues with these savings. There should be details on these savings. This emergency management could save zero. So I guess they are right on it. They're not wasting any money. And then we want to look at this link here, councilnyc.gov/budgets fiscal year 2020. They always put the last year, so it's 2019 to 2020. And what we notice is the format of this page seems to be random, right? You see fiscal year 2020, but we don't see consistency across budgets, across years. So this one ends with preliminary mayor's management report. That's for 2019. But this one ends with, if you go down, terms and conditions, transparency resolution. Then if you go to the next year, 2019, it just seems like these are just created just to fill the pages with stuff to confuse people. So here's a preliminary budget response on 2018, 2019 preliminary mayor's management report, preliminary budget responses. Why is there no consistency here? How's everyone supposed to make sense of this? And all it is a bunch of links, terms and conditions, transparency resolution. Up here, it just does not make sense to me. Why we just have random links with no explanation. Then over here is 2018. So one thing I also want to point out, and these are just topics, they're very proud of themselves. Here's Justin Brannan reporting that he delivered they don't even use dollars, 162K check to Reaching Out Community Service. And this is very wonderful picture of as if it's their money, giving, as if he donated to them. Well, that's your money being donated to this Reaching Out group, which may be fine. Maybe that's the right thing to do, but people should look at it. So thanks for telling us, but how can we see the allocation? If you look at this spreadsheet, if you go to this link or just search on Twitter for this Justin Brannan, I'm sure he's very proud of his $162,000 check of your taxpayer money to Reaching Out. It doesn't seem to add up. If you look at their disclosed information, it's only $47,500 for fiscal year 2020, right? So it doesn't seem to make sense. Even if you look at their own site and you add up the numbers, they don't add up to 160, whatever he said, 162. So I don't know where this number is coming from. Right? You would think that they would have to be consistent within themselves, right? But nobody answers any questions. They're just there to post. They're not reading anything. So you, as the taxpayer, are nobody, right? Until all taxpayers unite and wake up, and then you'll see that people will listen. People will listen when the taxpayers unite. But they're asleep at this point, so they can. These council people can do whatever they want. Let's also look at this. They have a fiscal year 2018. This seems to be the current one, even though it's not. These numbers over here are showing, just a disaster that's happening in property tax. So I just want to encourage everyone to look at these sites. And thank you very much for listening, and always contact us at ralph@titleforce.org. And peace out, everybody. Just look.